If you had a time machine, right now, forget about seeing the dinosaurs or flying cars for a moment. Let's be honest. What is the one mistake you would go back and fix? That one moment of loss you'd give anything to prevent? That one conversation you wish you could have again? That one decision that sent your life down a different path? We all have one. It's the ghost that keeps us up at night, whispering, what if? You could erase it, right? Step into a machine, flip a switch, and make everything perfect. But what if I told you the universe, the very fabric of reality, has rules about this? And when it comes to changing the past, the laws of physics present three terrifying possibilities. Either you are destined to fail, you can never truly come home again, or the door to yesterday is locked forever. So which one is it? Which rule governs our reality? Welcome to Void and Matter. If you love exploring the biggest questions in the universe, you're in the right place. Today we're going on a deep dive into the real physics and philosophy of time travel. Let's start with the most rigid and perhaps most unsettling idea. It's called the block universe theory, or eternalism. It proposes that our perception of time as a flowing river is just a human illusion. The reality is that the past, present, and future all exist right now, simultaneously and permanent. Think of the entire history of the universe from the Big Bang to its final moments as a single, four-dimensional loaf of bread. Your birth is one slice, this moment is another, and your death is a slice further down. All are equally real. So what happens when you travel to the past? You aren't changing anything, you're just visiting a different slice. And here's the kicker. Your visit was always part of that slice. This leads to what's known as the Novikov self-consistency principle. Imagine you want to go back and save the Titanic. You arrive with a high-tech radio to warn the captain. But as you're about to transmit, a steam pipe bursts and destroys your equipment. Fine. Plan B, you try to physically get to the bridge, but you get lost in the ship's massive interior. Plan C, you decide to just pull the fire alarm, but you slip on a wet spot and are knocked unconscious. Until after the iceberg hits. The universe isn't trying to stop you. It's that your failure was always a part of the story. The history books don't mention a time traveler successfully warning the Titanic because one never did. Your attempt and subsequent failure are as much a part of history as the iceberg itself. You can break the chain of cause and effect because your effect was already part of the original cause. The past is an iron wall. You can bang on it, you can spray paint it, but you can never, ever knock it down. That's a mind-bending idea, isn't it? If you're enjoying this journey down the rabbit hole of reality, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to Void and Matter so you don't miss our future explorations. It helps the channel out more than you know. Alright, now let's see if the universe offers us an escape from that iron wall. What if the universe isn't a stubborn wall? What if it's more flexible? This is where we get into the wild world of quantum mechanics and the many worlds interpretation. This theory suggests that our universe is just one of countless parallel realities. Every time a quantum event has more than one possible outcome, the universe splits. A particle can be here, or it can be there. In one universe, it's here. In another, it's there. This creates an infinitely branching tree of alternate time. So, let's go back to that mistake you want to fix. Let's make it deeply personal. Say you want to go back and prevent a loved one from getting into that fateful car. In this theory, you arrive, you make up an excuse, you delay them by 5 minutes, and the accident is avoided. You've saved them, but you haven't erased anything. All you did was create a new branch on the tree. You've stepped sideways into a fresh timeline where your loved one is safe. You get to live in this new, perfect reality. But the original universe, your home, is still there. In that reality, the accident still happened, your family still grieved, and the version of you that built a time machine out of loss and regret simply vanished one day. You have fixed the past, but it's no longer your past. You are a temporal orphan, a refugee in a world that looks like home but isn't. You can have your happy ending, but it will cost you your entire world. Would you make that trade? This brings us to our final rule. It's the simplest, the most direct, and the one that many physicists, including the late, great Stephen Hawking, believed in. It's the idea that the past is a locked room, and paradox is the key that'll never fit. We all know the grandfather paradox. You go back, get rid of grandpa. You're never born. You never go back. It's a loop of pure nonsense. Reality just doesn't do nonsense. But it gets even weirder. Consider the Bootstrap Paradox. Imagine an old, weathered copy of Hamlet gets sent back in time to William Shakespeare himself before he'd written it. Shakespeare, being a busy guy, just copies it down and publishes it. The book becomes famous through the centuries until that same copy is picked up and sent back in time again. So, who actually wrote Hamlet? The information exists in a closed loop with no origin. It literally created itself. This is the kind of reality-breaking chaos that the universe abhors. Stephen Hawking was so sure this was impossible that he proposed the chronological protection conjecture. He believed that the fundamental laws of physics themselves, things like vacuum fluctuations and energy conditions, would rise up and prevent any time machine from ever working on a macroscopic scale. The universe, in essence, polices itself. It's not a wall of fate, and it's not a branching path. It is simply, and absolutely, a locked door. So there you have it. The three great rules of time travel: the unchangeable past, where your mistakes are permanent fixtures in history; the alternate past, where fixing them makes you a stranger in a strange land; and the impossible past, where the door is locked to protect reality from chaos. Which one is true? We don't know. But the dream of time travel isn't really about physics. It's about us. It's born from our deepest human emotions, our regrets, our hopes, our grief, and our desperate desire to control the one thing that flows past us all, completely out of our control. Maybe the real lesson from all these theories isn't about whether we can change the past. Maybe it's about learning to make peace with the present and to build a future that we won't feel the need to go back and fix. So, I'll end with a final question for you. Which universe would you actually want to live in? One where your mistakes are forever, one where escaping them costs you your home, or one where you're protected from your own worst impulses? Let me know your choice and why in the comments below.